afternoon to all the dignitaries on the dais and off the dais, and all the invited guests in the audience. Now, this session is the seminar on social justice and empowerment of women, children, and other weaker sections. So here, there are eminent personalities to present papers on this. First of all, Dr. P. Nazir, the Director, Department of Minority Welfare, Government of Goa, will be presenting his paper. May I welcome you, sir, to present your paper.
Respected Chairperson, Dr. Susan Joseph. Today is our distinguished guest, Mrs. Shamina Shafiq, Honorable Member for National Commission for Women. Dear Dr. P.J. Jisha and Mr. Gino Kurian, respected delegates, my dear fellow participants. I am extremely happy to participate in this conference organized by World Human Rights Conference, Human Rights Forum. First of all, I would like to express my deep gratitude to the organizers of this conference for having given me a chance, an opportunity to present a paper here. Friends, being I am the Director of Minority Welfare Department, Government of Kerala, I would like to speak on one of the major weaker sections in the country called minorities. You know that according to our constitution, there are two types of minorities. One is religious minorities, another is linguistic minorities. The topic that we are discussing here, social justice and empowerment of women, children, and other weaker sections. Here I would like to prefer speak on the weaker section exclusively on religious minorities. As you all agree, every country has national, ethnic, religious minorities. Persons belonging to the minority and weaker section aspire to participate in public sector, economic, cultural, and religious life of the societies in which they lived on equally footing to the rest of the population. According to 2001 census, recognized religious minorities, those are the Muslims, Christians, Sikh, Buddha, and Parsi, comprise 18.4% of our population, which translates into approximately 195 million people. This number today could be around 220 million. If we include others who are claiming inclusion in this category, it could be said in general terms that every fifth Indian citizens belongs to religious minority. Their progress and well-being is a prerequisite for us to realize our destiny of becoming modern, prosperous, and developed state. In 1992 December 18th, the United Nations member state adopts unanimously the Declaration of the Rights of Person belonging to national or ethnic, religious and linguistic minorities, which was an acknowledgement that gap existed in minority rights protection. This gap persists the society and nation. The declaration of established that the states have an obligation to promote the rights of minorities to enjoy their own culture, identities, to profess and practice on religious and use their language. India, even before the adoption of the declaration by the UN, has provided the rights to minority, their protection and religious freedom in its constitution, and the minorities and weaker section in India enjoy the same constitutional rights which are enjoyed by the affluent societies. The constitution is premised on the ideals of justice, liberty, equality and fraternity, and promises them to all citizens. The basic principle is equality before the law and equal protection of the laws. Away from generalization in formal and legal terms, an assessment of the ground reality pertaining to minorities or weaker sections need to cover 4 areas: identity, security, share in the fruits of development, and role in decision making. Given the complexity of our societal landscape and its variables, the articulation of grievances by different weaker sections had varied in content and intensity. While some are sporadic, others seem to be endemic. The identity question has been settled through the enforcement of fundamental rights inscribed in the Constitution. Attempts, however, are made from time to time to circumscribe the ambit of our Article 25 relating to freedom of religion, including the rights to propagate. The security questions remains at the core of the political discourse of the minorities and section of civil society. The requirement of social peace and fraternity demands greater commitment and more persistent performance by government at central and state level. The equity question is a perennial one. The operative principles are equality of status and opportunity and social, economic and political justice. It should be given to all sections of the society. We know that equality before the law, equality of opportunity in the matters of public employment, and prohibition of discrimination on grounds of caste, creed and color, sex or place of birth are fundamental rights. But in spite these safeguards, many amongst the weaker sections not benefited equally or in adequate measures. This is evident from the recently finalized 12th five-year plan's observation in relation to the country's largest sections of the people. An important concern vis-a-vis the all communities, especially the weaker sections, is the perception of the discrimination and alienation. It goes on to say that while India has experienced accelerated growth and development in the recent years, not all weaker sections of the society and social groups have shared equally the benefits of the growth process. Amongst these, all the sections of the society, especially the weaker sections, the religious minorities, especially the Muslim religious minorities, the largest minorities in the country, are lagging behind on all human development indices. The dimension of the problem were quantified in the Sachar Committee report of November 2006 and in the Ranganath Mishra Commission report of May 2007. The pursuant to these number of schemes for scholarships, you know that the Prime Minister's new 15 points program initiated for the upliftment of the religious minorities in the country. For the development of minority concentration districts were included in the 11th plan. Their implementation was uneven. The scholarships benefited a good number, but reports about the identified districts are less emphatic. But Kerala is an exceptional. Kerala has advanced so much for availing these scholarships and other schemes, especially under my department, Minority Welfare Department, Government of Kerala. access to credit remains a recurring grievance among the weaker section. You know that only the affluent person can go to our banks and avail loan. Same time, our weaker section, they may not be able to access the bank persons. Even today, I could deal one of the case raised before me because a person who applied to get a loan, she was representing from a slum area, from the heart of the Trivandrum city. She tried to get a loan for availing 50% of the subsidy given by our department. Only the thing, a bank guarantees letter is produced before our department, then we will give 50% of the subsidy to the loanees. It was so unfortunate. For the last 3 months, the applicant was consistently trying to get a loan from that bank. Today, I contacted the chairman of Canara Bank. I discussed this matter, and I am told by him, see, this is not our mistake, only the branch managers, they are not considering. See, this is the major issue that we have to take up among the people, those who are dealing high officers and high officials. See, anyway, I don't want to prolong this speech here because our expert member, commission, she will explain everything what she is doing for the last many years for the upliftment of the weaker section, especially the women and children. I conclude with the hope that the question posed for this conference would be deliberated upon in all manifestations, and collective wisdom of this gathering would contribute to the national effort of seeking to benefit all segments of our society. We are, after all, have the world's largest model of how diversity is accommodated in a functioning democracy. I thank the organizers once again, regards all members of the Forum for All Weaker Section in the country for inviting me. I wish the conference all success. Jai Hind.